It's morning time. Time to get going to find my way out.
We need to find a nice sunny spot so we can use this trick I learned to establish a direction of travel. But it's just too dark in here and it won't work. We need a nice sunny spot and at least 15 minutes for this to work. But we also need to find food. It's starting to get dark. And this path we're on right now, it's really rocky with loose rocks. Like look, if you step on this, you can come right over your other foot and break your ankle, so be careful here. You know, usually I'm always running down things, but this is too dangerous. If we even twist an ankle out here, we're dead for sure. Again, this has definitely been cut on there. This is quite weird, but there's little fungi that grow on here. If you can just scrape them off, you can use these for good fire starter. I'm gonna put that in my rucksack. Alright, it's in. Let's keep going. Now normally this would be enough sun, but only if it was wide open from all areas. Since it's only coming from that direction, if the stick, which is what we would use to catch the shadow, would turn, we wouldn't notice it because the sun would be in a different spot. This is a good sign. It's some marking tape that says road location caution. It's a good sign. It means there might be a road nearby, so let's keep going. This trail almost looks man-made. I'm not sure though. There's a nice sunny spot up there, but it's not flat enough for the trick to work. We need basically level ground, and it has to be open so sun can be around from all areas. Up there it looks like there's a cliff. We might want to try and get up there, but we need water first. We can't do that, not just yet. This might actually be enough sun. I'm not sure though. Man, looks like there's a sunny spot over here. It's probably going to be better. Yeah, there's the sun. It's what most survivors dread, because it just makes every journey just that much harder. This should work. This should be enough sun. So what we're going to want to do is put the stick down and find, usually you only need about 3 rocks, but 2 sometimes works, and maybe even 4. It's not my decision, whatever you think works. So what you're going to want to do is, this being on an angle, we're going to have to change the format for this a bit. But what you do is you put the stick straight up, and there's the end of the shadow right here. Come on, get a closer look at this. The end of the shadow ends right here, right on my glove right there. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to mark that with something easy to see, like maybe a leaf of a plant that's bright colored. Put it right here, and then that's where the stick was. That's where the shadow was. Alright, well, we're waiting for our stick to do the little movement thing with the sun. We've spotted this dragonfly and we might be able to eat this. These ones I've noticed, the red ones, they tend to not be able to see behind them that well, and you can usually grab them by the back if they don't hear you. But walking in this shallow is going to be pretty hard for it not to hear us. So you just want to get it by the tail, and it got away. It landed again. We might be able to keep doing this. No way. It's just going to lead me on a wild goose chase. I don't want that happening. Come on, let's check out our thing. As you can see, the shadow has moved just a few centimeters So we're gonna have to wait. As you can see, it's not moving that much, and since we're on a hill, it's kind of going down as opposed to the other way beside it. So we're gonna mark this right about there, and we're gonna make a line between them like this. And we could have waited longer, but this was taking a long time, and because we were on a slant, it was taking even longer. So really I could just use this stick. What we do is we make a line between them, which is right about there, and then that way is north, down the trail. So that actually works out very well. Let's keep going. Go. Wait, hold on. Look at this. This will make extremely good fire starter. So it's gonna take clumps of this stuff. We really don't need much because this will catch a spark basically instantly. Yeah, put that in the rock stack, and we'll be on our way. Put it right on there. And it's messy, but it's definitely worth it. Let's get going. Find that road that they were talking about on that sign. Oh, that tight. There's more of this wild holly. It's weird. I didn't think holly grew wild around here. In fact, an even better case would be if the holly was planted along this trail, would mean that this was definitely man-made, and it could lead us somewhere. Again, that's been cut again and grown over. That's pretty cool. That must have been cut a long time ago for the bark to start growing over to mend it up. Pretty cool beans. The shade is nice, but we still need to find some more water. It's a shame we couldn't get that dragonfly. Would have got some good vitamin C from that. I think that was a chipmunk. Rather maybe a squirrel, but I'm not sure. There's no point to going after it. Squirrels and chipmunks can go a lot faster than us, and it'd just be useless. They have the upper hand like 200% in here. It really wouldn't be worth it. Wait, stop, listen. Did you hear that? I think that's the car. It might be close to a road, but when you hear a car or when you see civilization, you can't think you're safe just yet. Because if they don't see you and you get tired and you say slip on this rock and break an ankle or something, you may never be found when you're just that close to civilization and rescue. Never think you're safe until you actually are. One of my favorite survival stories is earlier, maybe a couple months or 2 years ago. Two men they were friends from work, and they were hiking along trails like this, and they actually slipped into a cavern. They didn't make it. That's not a survival story, never mind, they actually died, so I don't know what. There's that type again. It says culvert. That is a good sign. There might be water in there. Let's check it out. This looks like it used to be an old logging road. I mean, it doesn't look like it. It definitely is. This is a good sign. We're probably going to follow it up that way because there's more shade, and where the sky's really blue like this, I don't know what that means. I was just making stuff up. Let's see if there's water in here. There's not. Bone dry. I'll have to get this thorn on my glove. That rock face we saw earlier on before we waited for the time thing might be connected to this. It might just curl all the way around. So it was probably a better choice to go around it on this road than go over it. So that was a good choice we made. But getting up high, we might be able to see what's around the bend of this trail for a little bit as a good vantage point. I'm going up real quick. I didn't have to do any work to get that off. We're gonna have to be really careful. This rock is just complete slate and breaking. This is quite the easy climb, but when you have very little handholds like this, you could die. Slip right down, and you wouldn't see the light of day again. Alright, we got up this sheer 30-foot cliff right here, and there's no point in my cameraman coming up because I'm not going to be spending too much time up here. It's actually, there's a lot of trees over there, so there'd be really no point because we wouldn't be able to get a good vantage point. But there are these berries, and the native people to this land said that these berries are a delicacy and they have treasured them for a long time. But I don't know what these have been growing in, but they're probably safe to eat. Oh, that was absolutely terrible. It was full of seed, and there's just almost no berry in it. It's time to make my way back down. Again, on the way back down is sometimes harder. It's almost definitely harder than getting up, because gravity is just pulling you down, and if you even think about slipping, you could die and slip right down the rock face. This is very strange. It looks like something's been climbing up here before. Maybe bears or raccoons and such. It doesn't mean anything though. Bears don't stay in one place for too long unless they have cubs and stuff. And it's not the season for that right now. Yeah, that's how we do it. Let's keep going. These trees are very weird because it looks like there's just a pile of cut logs and branches there. It's not worth checking out there. Let's keep following this road. As you can see right here, there's more of that fire starter, really good stuff, that's fluff. But we don't need it. Because if we find the conks the people that live here call them, but it's really just tree fungus. Usually lives on rotting trees, logs and stumps on the ground. We can make good fire bundles with that, because that'll keep an ember for a long time. You just wrap that in some like damp leaves, and you can just put that in your rucksack, and then you can have a fire wherever you go. And you can tell this is a logging road because there's very few trees where there usually would have been a lot, and you can see the stumps sometimes through the bushes, but that's how you know there was logging here. We're going to keep following this road, see if we can hear those cars again. Because the sound was coming from that way, and this is kind of heading towards there. Although there is a bend in the thing up here, I don't know what we're going to do. Most people will just be like, yeah, let's just keep cutting right on through the bush to the cars, but there could be a valley and the sound can travel for a long time, so we don't want to do that. That's not safe. We'd exert way too much energy, still seeing as how we have no water, we have found nothing. Or food really, so aside from that berry, but that was gross. But look here, there's just so many of these berries here. This is actually amazing. And these ones like they would be good to eat. Let's just try one to see how it is. These are called huckleberries, and they usually don't even get this big. That tastes really good. We're gonna be taking this vine with us. But in the meantime, you can see this, there's a road here, but it dies off, and it would be easier just to follow it this way. And you don't always want to follow these, but you sometimes can, because you'd be better off following them than not. And going back is always very hard, so you don't want to do that either. If you're ever going survival camping or just hiking wherever, you always want to bring a rucksack. It's a very good idea. And a knife. If you don't have a knife, life will be extremely hard. But if you can find a sharp rock, you can usually do without one, but it's just a lot easier to bring a knife than not bring a knife. And my arch nemesis, Survivor Man, Les Stroud, he says you should conserve your knife, and I agree with that, but he conserves his knife way too much. And it's better off if you needed to use it, you might as well go right ahead and do it. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is we're just going to want to just take a branch of these, because this is really good fiber and calcium from this. Yeah, we'll leave more for the next person that's stranded out here. Let's keep going. This was a good find. I've been thinking, and berries being this big means the bears, and especially bears, don't come through here that often, which is surprising since this is a very easy route of travel. But I still can't get over the fact that these bears are so big. I've been in here for a while before we started this, not here but in BC, and I've never seen huckleberries this big. This is really good. It's quite the find because these have juices in them that will keep you a little bit hydrated, not as good as water. You always want to find water. So that's why we only brought one of these. We could have brought more, but I only have so many hands. We've been walking for a while now. We just finished that vine of berries, and we threw it on the ground because we didn't need to pack it around anymore. So this is cool. You see right here, the rock is just falling away from the cliff there. It's pretty cool, but no reason to stop. And sometimes if you see black lines on the rock faces like this, either big or small, it can mean water trickles down them in the winter or just when it's a wet season, but we haven't seen much of that. Usually you can suck the moisture off the rocks, but not today. Well, look at these flowers here. Come on, get a close up. They're blue. There's not many of these around here. In fact, we haven't seen these at all. I don't know if these grow here naturally or if they're planted, but either way is fine. They got nothing for us. Let's keep going. Oh wait, no, look. There's more of this tape on the trees, and you can 100% tell this was logged. There's a stump right there and a stump right here. This stump is huge. Look how big or wide around this is. That's like almost half of me. That was a big tree at one point. Let's keep going. These plants here, I can't remember what they're called. This was kind of a fail on my part, but these usually grow by water, and there is a ditch here. Here, come on, get a close up at this. There's a track in here. This looks extremely moist. We're gonna have to check it out. It is kind of wet, but it doesn't look deep enough. This is very compact. As you can see, I can step on it and there's barely a foot mark, which means this is very compact, and squeezing the water out of this even through a sock or a shirt would be extremely hard. And we keep hearing these planes overhead, so we might want to start a signal fire, but probably not. Let's keep going. In fact, you can actually see right there, I don't know if the camera can see that, it probably can't, but there's the streaks from a plane crossing. Probably a commercial airline, but there's no point trying to flag down one of those. Let's try and find that road. We've been walking for a while, and as you can see, there's a slug right here. These are what they call banana slugs because they're yellow. You could eat this, but you'd have to cook it first and it'd just be absolutely putrid. And as I've said many times before, we are close to a road, and there's my my rope expert right there. But anyway, we are close to this road we're walking on, so it's we're getting pretty close because this is turning toward the cars we've heard before. This is a good spot to be. We're gonna keep going. Oh, I hear water. Let's go see what it is. Yeah! Look down there, there's a waterfall. Here, take the camera from you. There's a waterfall right there, and it goes through a culvert onto the other side down there. This side looks like it's going to be easier to access, and the water is running, so that means it's going to be cleaner than just stagnant water. Here, take the camera back. I'm going down there. But I'm not going to bring my rucksack because we might slip and fall, and it's just too dangerous. I'm going to put my knife back in too, because I don't want that to really get too wet. And I'm going to get out the empty canteen we brought along with us. If it's in here. Alright, we had to switch memory cards there, but I got the canteen, so we're going to try and traverse the terrain down there and get some of that water. Don't come, just film from up here. This is really brittle and loose. As you can see, I'll try not to slip and fall into the water, even though it would be quite refreshing anyway. Going down like that, sliding on one foot and braking with the other is a very good way to traverse slippery terrain like this, because you have brakes and it's very stable. There's a massive culvert here. Here, throw the camera down. I'll catch it. As you can see, that's where the water's coming running from, and that's where it's going. This water's very clear, so it'll probably be safe to drink. Here, I'm throwing back up the camera. Good catch. Got the canteen out. Now I'm going to fill it with the water. It's almost full. Alright, there should be enough water to last us until we get to the road. Now if you can find fern plants and other sturdy plants like this and grab them right by the base, not by this, because as you see that just broke, you can use that as a good sturdy handhold and foothold. You can feel 100% safe putting all your weight on it and you'll still be safe. You know, your viewers at home might say, "Bah, shouldn't you boil the water?" But that looks extremely clear. It didn't smell bad. We're in a remote area, so there's not going to be pollution. So we're going to keep going to that road. Come on, let's go. We got to hurry. It says Crofton Lake Road on this tree. What? I'm hearing the cars from this way, and I can see an opening. That might be the road. Although lake would be really good, because if it has a name, there might be people living around it. I've done my research, but to make it so I wasn't cheating, I made sure I didn't know where it was, but there's no one at Crofton Lake, so we're just going to head toward this road. Let's keep going. Let's go, there's the road! I hear the vehicles on the road, come on, run! Let's go, we gotta catch this vehicle! Oh, he's turning in here, perfect, let's go! out alive. That's where we just came from, and as you can see there's lots of cars, and after a long time of surviving in the wilderness, we finally made it out. This time on Man vs Wild, man prevailed.